I have one, so this is on my GSC narration because I clearly noticed Tyron. I just feel like narrating right now, so why not? So this is my teammate and friend D0nut against Agammemnon. I probably pronounced that wrong, but I pronounced every fucking name wrong. This is the Bigs against Classiest. So the series is 2-2 right now, and I think after this, McMegan versus Ojama is happening, so I'll narrate both. But anyway, lead Zapdos can lead Nidoking. I don't know what team D0nut is using, but that's a critical hidden power from Zapdos. It's a good start for him. And yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a weakened Nidoking against a fairly weakened but still healthy Zapdos. Zapdos is considered a check to Nidoking when it has hidden power Ice or Grass. So this is a good start. And I think that there's probably going to be a switch here from Agammemnon. I don't know if D0nut will try to take advantage of that, maybe switch out himself or go for a Thunder, or maybe just hidden power himself. This can be a Meganium. And that hidden power and that Thunder is going to be the brick from D0nut. It's going to do about 20%, but after leftovers, it'll be healed up to 85%. And so yeah, it doesn't really look like much is happening so far. So this hire is a bit contrary to my fast narration style. It's more of a slow-paced, whittle down kind of stuff, you know. But Meganium is not a very conventional GSC Pokemon. I believe it's more of a utility Pokemon. I think maybe it can run like Screens and Screech or no Charm. I don't know. Maybe that's more of an Umbreon from the Meganium thing. I don't quite know his move set, but I know it probably also runs Leech Seed, maybe a Grass move. Here's Hidden Power from Zapdos, does a bit under 40. That's Leech Seed to attest to what I just said there. So that's going to whittle down to Zapdos a bit each turn, I believe, but not the first turn given GSC mechanics. There's going to be Exeggutor. I believe that's probably a nice check, and the game's going to reveal Synthesis, but that's going to be interesting to keep in mind because it only has 8 PP, and given how GSC games tend to run along 8 PP moves or even 16 PP moves, they tend to wear down after time if it's a stall-year match, but maybe it's a more offensive game. Let's see. As you can see, Case Victory in the main chat is so happy about Meganium, and he's like all hyped up because this unconventional Pokemon in GSC. Because there's a lot of standard, just Snorlax, Snorlax, Electric, Exeggutor, Cloyster, Skarmory, the standard ass Pokemon in GSC, Tyranitar, Gengar, etc. And there's gonna be a Reflect, so that's the screen from Meganium. There's gonna be a Sleep from Exeggutor, so maybe it's Screens plus offensive mon, like Mixed Breaker Unity, probably an offensive Curslax or Gengar trying to these threatening GSC Pokemon plus Screens. That could be an interesting strategy from Agammemnon. There's a Snorlax, so Exeggutor's going to switch to Cloyster. I think Cloyster on Snorlax, unless it's like Thorlax or with Thunder or something, I think Cloyster's going to be a good play there. So it's going to be Spikes, and yup, that's going to be Cloyster from Agammemnon, so that's going to be Cloyster and Cloyster. There's going to be Hidden Power Electric from D0nut, which is good for him. I believe it's a roll to Tokyo. I think it's after that first roll, it's probably not in his favor, but maybe from full, it's 50-50 to Tokyo. I don't know the rolls. But there's going to be Spikes from the Cloyster of Agammemnon. I believe that Explosion can't Ochko from one Cloyster to another, so even if Agammemnon is quicker or something, I don't think that's going to Ochko yet. So it's Cloyster, so D0nut's going to get the better of that, but he's still going to be forced to play safe because there's Spikes and he's low. I don't know if he's going to be Boom or Hidden Power Electric or what. But D0nut certainly has a bit of an advantage here because the Nidoking's weakened and the Cloyster's dead. Well, his Cloyster's still alive, his Zapdos still alive, his Exeggutor is healthy, and the screen setter from the Agammemnon side, from the Classiest side, is asleep currently in the form of Meganium, and the Snorlax is revealed, although nothing about it is revealed because it just switched right in and out. But still anyone's game. The Nidoking's going to be the play there. This is interesting. I believe the Zapdos is in range to live any hit, about 78%, unless it's a crit Ice Beam or like a Thunder, crit Para plus Ice Beam. So we'll have to see here. I think that Zapdos might be the play, unless he wants to go into his Snorlax to not even risk that getting potentially hacked. But yeah, Zapdos is the play here. And that's going to be a Fire Blast that's going to miss. That's an interesting move. Maybe he's predicting a Skarmory pivot or even Exeggutor to come in. But I don't think that's very common from Nidoking in this generation. But it's an interesting set. The French got their cool quirks and gimmicky sets. So nice to see here. But it missed a Zapdos, so Zapdos is going to get a pretty free switch in. And now it's free to either fire off a Thunder or Hidden Power Ice. I think it's just going to go for the safe Hidden Power Ice. And I think that Snorlax is going to be the play from Agammemnon. But I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. Hopefully, Suicune isn't a Zapdos check like it was for Umfuga, as Umfuga himself says in the chat. And there's going to be just Snorlax confirming that. And Hit Power is going to be the safe play. Yep, it's just going to bounce off doing 12%, only 6% after leftover. But then Spike's also going to do 12.5%, leaving the Snorlax at 82%. Thunder's going to be the play, and Body Slam's going to be the play. Thunder's going to miss, but Body Slam's only going to do 34%. And then after Lefty's a bit under 30. And given that it didn't paralyze, I don't think it's too big of a harm for D0nut. He's probably going to switch out into something like his own Snorlax or whatever one of the Snorlax checks that he happens to have in the back if he has one. Maybe he'll risk something like Exeggutor. I don't think he's going to go to Cloyster or stay in, though, because he could die to a crit Body Slam, or he's not really going to do too much with Thunder. I just don't see much of a a need staying in. You're not going to do over 35% with Thunder, and Cloister's going to die, so unless it's like not Boom or Rapid Spin. But I'm pretty sure every single Cloister says Boom or Rapid Spin, so therefore there's some utility to keeping Cloister alive in the long term. To speculate, maybe he has Steelix or a Skarmory, and that's a Steelix, yup. Body Slam's going to be played, it's going to do 9%, it's going to bounce off, doesn't even paralyze. So after leftovers spikes, it's going to be an 85% Steelix, which is a nice pivot, potentially check depending on if it has Earthquake plus Curse or Fire Blast to the Snorlax. It could also be a Curse Steelix. That's going to be a Fire Blast that's going to miss. And the play is going to be Roar from D0nut. And that's unfortunate for Agammemnon, certainly. But however, this Nidoking can threaten it with Fire Blast. D0nut did get unlucky in the past in his in 2 of his losses, but he's certainly on the luckier end of the game so far. This one with multiple instances of luck on his side, but I don't think any were too substantial. Although I think that Fire Blast mission and Hidden Power Ice Crit were certainly significant. I don't know if they're game changing or not, but it's obviously too early to say given that we're only 15 turns in this GSC map, which could potentially drag on for 50, 60, or even 100 turns depending on the nature of the teams. But it looks like it's a bit more offensive. There's going to be a Lovely Kiss from Nidoking. I think D0nut probably predicted that. Predicting him not to go for Fire Blast, predicting him to want to sleep something like a Snorlax or an incoming Zapdos. And so that's a good play from the D0nut because he's probably not going to need Steelix too much given that Fire Blast Snorlax is not going to be easy for Steelix to check. And now Zapdos comes in and Fire Blast is going to be the play from Agammemnon. It's only going to do 22%. And after leftovers, he's not going to be in Ice Beam range and Nidoking's going to be in Power range. So I guarantee you that Agammemnon's going to switch out here. Probably in a Snorlax. Snorlax is a play. I think it's going to be a safe Hidden Power, but it's going to be a Thunder Predict, and that's going to miss from D0nut. That's the second Thunder miss, but really neither were too large in the scheme of things. Unless both hit, then it might be in like a Thunder range here, but I mean, everything would have played out differently, so you can't say that. And obviously D0nut has had a lot of luck on his side so far, so that's fine. Let's see what D0nut goes to here. He's going to go to his own Snorlax here. Probably predicting the Body Slam or Fire Blast just to get it in. It's going to be paralyzed here, so it's going to be a bit weaker and paralyzed here. So that's some momentum on Agammemnon's side. So let's see here what's going to happen. It's so far revealed Body Slam and Fire Blast. It's used 3 Body Slam, 1 Fire Blast. Not sure what the full set is. Could be Curse. Probably not going to be Lovely Kiss because it's with Nidoking. Could be Rest. Could be Earthquake. Could be Self-Destruct. With screens, I think it could be like Offensive Curse. Maybe like Fire Blast, Body Slam, Curse, and either Rest or Self-Destruct, but it could also be like Earthquake, Fire Blast, Body Slam, Self-Destruct. So we'll have to see here. That's going to be a Tyranitar from the Agammemnon side. And that's going to be a Machamp predicting that. Oh, well, maybe not predicting that, but predicting something in general from the D0nut side. So that's a nice play from D0nut. And that's, Agammemnon puts in the chat, awkward moment. And yes, it is quite an awkward moment from him because his Boomer is dead Cloister, but that's not really a Machamp check, and his Machamp check is weakened at 36%. I think it might be able to take a cross chop after spikes, but I don't know the roll. Probably not, to be honest, because that'll be at 23 to 24%. And yeah, I don't like the odds of that. So also the Meganium's asleep, and that is the Reflect Pokemon. So hopefully the last from him is a Zapdos, because if it's a Raikou, then I really dislike his odds. That's going to be a Dynamic Punch from Tyranitar, and if that doesn't get confusion, it's not going to get confusion, it's going to die to the cross chop. Okay, so yeah, that is bad for Agammemnon. I guarantee that the last is a Raikou, given that line of action. And that makes a lot more sense, because he needs another electric check, because it's only 2 real hardcore electric checks. Well, it's only 1 real hardcore electric check. Oh, it's a Vaporeon. What the fuck? Not only did Omfuga not have an electric check, but now Agammemnon doesn't have one. I don't think that Meganium plus Snorlax is really sufficient, because Meganium takes 40% from hidden power. Snorlax is going to have to rest. It might not even be a rest set, but it looks like it has to be rest at this point. And Nidoking, quite obviously, can't beat Zapdos 1v1. It doesn't like taking hidden power ices or waters from anything. So really, I'm not a fan of this team from Agammemnon. It needed a Raikou or some electric check in the last spot. That's going to be Vaporeon. Not just going to be threatening. You're going to do Surf here. That does 19% to the Exeggutor. It's not too big. I really feel like D0nut has a huge advantage from this point, because if Zapdos threatens the remainder of the team, that Machamp is huge, and he's still got a Boom or potentially 2 or 3 Booms left alive. Psychics are going to bounce off this Snorlax, going to do 22%. It's going to be at 2/3 now. Maybe potentially a Boom here from D0nut if he times it correctly, but he might just want to spam Psychic. I don't think he needs to Boom this early at all, but the Snorlax, you really want to find out what the set is. I think that he's just going to stay in here, go for a Psychic. But we'll see here. Yep, Psychic's going to do a bit more, 24%, and it's going to get a special drop. Body Slam's going to be later for Snorlax. It's going to get the paralysis. So that's a bit of a help for Agammemnon, but the special defense drop is certainly not going to be helping him. Because now that Psychic is going to be 3 Kyong, I don't know if it'll 3 off the leftovers, though. So it's going to be doing in the 30s. That's the point. Maybe low 40s. So we'll see here. If Agammemnon has Fire Blast, I mean, if Agammemnon is Rest, he might go for it here. But he's going to go for that, and Boom is going to be the play there. So now Zapdos pretty much wins the game if it hits his Thunders, to be honest. This looks like a pretty easy win for D0nut if he hits his Thunders, and he's got really 2 or 3 options in the back. So I'm not very fond of this Agammemnon team. It doesn't have much for Electrics. It really doesn't even have much for opposing, like, offense in general, really, because he gets worn down by Spikes easy. He's got no way of removing that since it was Boom, Blister, not Spin. Every single mon is vulnerable to Spikes. I guess that's the thing in GSC, unless you have like Skarmory or random ass Jump Bluff, which you could only see like Vil using last year, or Zapdos, of course, which is common. But he doesn't have an electric type. He doesn't have too much in terms of checking electric types. That's gonna be the Nidoking going down to Hidden Power, of course. So yeah, now the Vaporeon's gonna come in, and it's gonna need to bank on a Thunder or 2 missing, probably 2 missing here. I'm not quite sure what set it is. I guess that the general goal of the Agammemnon team was to take advantage of abusing screens from the Meganium, and that's going to be a miss from Thunder, and I think Surf is going to be a roll here because the first one did 35%. I don't know if he's going to risk that or what. I believe that Cloyster's quicker than this, so maybe he does risk it, and then he can just Boom with the Cloyster, and then Snorlax. Oh, and that's going to hit regardless. That's going to do 70%, and it's going to paralyze, and the Surf is going to kill the Zapdos, but that's fine, because Machamp pretty much cleans up from here, and even anything with Boom plus the remaining Pokemon cleans here, so there's no way in hell that we pass out his completion right now, and time's out. But I don't even think time is on, so that's not even a condition either. So D0nut looks like he's going to win here, and his record, personally, is going to move to 4-3. And the Bigs are going to lead the series 3-2. So that's going to be good, and hopefully I'll be bringing you guys the McMegan versus Ojama game after this as well, but let's just have D0nut finish up this game first. He's going to go to my champ here. Probably going to be able to kill with Cross Chop, barring a miss, and after leftovers, I don't know if it'll kill, but I'm pretty sure it kills Vaporeon from here. But we'll have to see what happens first. Even if it doesn't die to Surf unless it gets crit. And Meganium is asleep with Spikes up, so it probably gets 2 killed. It's at full. Maybe it'll get 3 killed, but yeah. That's going to be Cross Chop. That's going to take out the Vaporeon. Now it's going to be a 4-on-1 situation with at least 1 Boomer, if not 2 or 3 Boomers left for D0nut. So I don't see any means of him losing this game unless this thing has a million. That's a Fire Blast Machamp. What about that? And a nice innovation from both sides with Fire Blast. I like that. That's doing 40 here. So if he hits another 1 or 2 and the Meganium stays asleep, that's going to be able to close up the game. That's going to wake up, though. It's going to go for Synthesis. Oh, my God. I can't fucking talk. I'm sorry, guys. But, yeah, so it's going to probably stall out the remaining PP from that and then Boom on it eventually. Hopefully it doesn't get Reflect Up or something first. It could be Ice Beam on the Cloyster. That'll help, too. It's going to be a Leech Seed. And that's going to help the Meganium a bit. It's going to be up around 40% after the Fire Blast Leech Seed leftovers damage. So now maybe a switch from D0nut, maybe not. I don't know. It depends on the sets. But really just D0nut can just curse up and win. It still can Boom on it. Or maybe it's Toxic it. I don't really know what's going to have. The Cloyster could Ice Beam or something. There's going to be a burn from Fire Blast to just speed up the process a bit. It's over. There's no way a last mon Meganium wins. Let's be real. Razor Leaf as a last-ditch effort from Agammemnon. Fire Blast is just going to be the continuous play from the Meganium, and it's going to get healed a bit, then weakened a bit, 31% here. It's got 5 synthesis left. I don't know if he's going to want to drag this game out or just going to attack her again or not. But this game should be over in the next 5-10 turns if he drags it on. It should be over this turn. If he doesn't, he just attacks and D0nut attacks. So yeah, this is pretty much over. It looks like a win for D0nut. And it's going to be just dragging it out with another synthesis, healing it up half. Cross Chop's going to crit, win the game, high crit ratio. That finishes it off quickly. So D0nut's going to win in a 34-turn offensive GSC game where he did get a bit lucky to open up the stuff for him offensively, but that Machamp and the other Pokemon did a lot of work for him, and Agammemnon's team was really questionable given that it didn't have an electric check. So that's going to be a win for D0nut. Bigs and take lead 3-0, and D0nut is going to be up D0nut himself is going to be 4-3. So that's a good game, and this is Finch. Peace.